Hi, I'm Brian, and I have some really good news to share with you. I know the world's a crazy place. It's hard being a human these days. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to get any easier in the real immediate future. I think there's going to be some stuff for us to go through. But there's purpose to all of this. And I wanted to share my perspective on what is the bride of Christ and what that means to us, because I think that it's really largely misunderstood. When I see the way people behave, and I see the bondage that people carry around, and when I see people who stand up for a cause or something, and they do it with anger and hate, and they don't do it with love, and they don't show love to the people that they want to disagree with. And there's a much better way for us to grow. There's also a reason for all of this. There's so much more to our species. There's so much more to the time that we're in right now. You get to live and be alive at one of the coolest times ever in the human race. And one day, this will be something to remember. It's special. So, but I guess let's start out the right way. Because as humans, we are inherently children of heaven. You are a child of heaven. You are an infinite creator, given access to all the creative powers to use as you choose, to create good or to create bad. We're not intended to create bad. You want to create the good, but you have access to all of it right now. And you're probably a lot more than you even realize. But we're all here to wake up. We're all kind of stifled when we come here too, when we get to inhabit this form and be a human, and get to embody the anger and the love and the jealousy and the honesty and the lies, everything that you have experienced, all that stuff. I mean, we've all experienced. We're all humans, but we experience all of that when we come here. And it's quite something. It can be a task, but there's a beautiful way. Anyhow, in all of that, let's start out the right way by remembering we're a child of heaven and by speaking like a child of heaven. So, Father, great Father, I thank you for this opportunity to come to this world and get to live and get to experience all that there is to being human and all there is to being a child of earth and a child of heaven. Is such a wondrous thing. Thank you for the breath of life that was given to us, the breath that we can invoke. Thank you for the healing. Thank you for everything that is inherently part of us. And thank you for this time now when our race is about to change. And I ask that you bless this speech here. And Father, let me not speak for me, but speak for my brothers and sisters. And speak so that they can receive the freedom and the breaking of the chains, Lord. The things that you've shown me so I can walk free. Show us the love we can all walk in. Thank you, Lord. Woo! So good to be a child of heaven. It's a powerful, powerful thing. So, Bride of Christ. All right. Let's talk about where it comes from and where we are in it and where it's going and what it means to us. So, our world was created. Our world, one of many worlds. We're not the first entities to be created and to exist. And you'll even find that if you, look into Genesis. If you're a Christian and you really want to find these things in the Bible, you can observe even in there that there's more to this. And even in the history of Genesis, when light was given to this world, and light being so much more than the sun. Light is the law of the divine consciousness that was given to all of us. That was a beautiful thing that was spoken to this place. And since that time, we've evolved. It's been a long time, you know. When we look at the scientists, you know, they look at the Earth and was 44 million year old bones we're finding, and you know, we look at that and we go, wow, it's taken a long time for this place to grow, you know. But it takes a long time for something to mature, you know, for the most beautiful fruits and the most beautiful species, and even fruit like you. Let yourself sweeten up, ripen up, mature, and become that sweet love you're intended to be. So anyhow, our species is going along, and finally our souls can inhabit forms here on earth. And we evolve and we continue, and then there's the Christ, who is instantiated in our species, an entity. I only know a little bit about this. I'm as ignorant as most men. And I'll say this too, you know, when it comes to this topic and other things, trust what you know your heart to be true, and also ask heaven, because my experience, most men are full of shit, self included. You know, I think I'm pretty true, but I'm still human, come on. But anyhow, test all of this stuff and ask heaven how you feel about it. So the Christ is created, and woohoo! That is a milestone in our species, in our evolution. And it's been a long time. And then times kind of moves along, and here comes Jesus. Oh, Jesus was the Christ. I don't know when the Christ started in our existence. I don't know if Christ became Christ before he was Jesus, but I can tell you when he was Jesus, he was Christ. I think there's probably a lot more to the history of Christ than we even know. We only know a little bit. So, and it's okay not to know. It's intended for us to realize what we need to at the right time. So it's a beautiful way that God made this world, and even the way it will reveal itself in the way that heaven will reveal itself. It's a beautiful thing. So Christ is born, and he has his life, and he teaches us so many beautiful things. And there's so many beautiful things he taught us that aren't even in the Bible. So I know a lot of you might be listening to this here. Well, actually, you probably cut it off by now if that's the case. You're like, oh, it's freaking Christians, you know. I definitely can see how a lot of people feel that way, you know. When I was a kid and went to church, I haven't been there since. I saw how those people behaved, and I went, but that doesn't change my relationship with heaven, doesn't change my relationship with Christ, my relationship with Jesus. And in that too, that gives me a challenge to go, hey, Brian, how do you really feel about these people? You gotta show them love too. So even though I may observe that I don't see the love I think should be in the church, I still love the people, and because really we're all the church, you know. So Christ comes to this world, teaches, and all these wonderful, wonderful things, and he speaks from the heart, you know, and he tells these awesome stories. He doesn't spend all his time quoting books and stuff like that, you know. The only time, well, not the only time, but most of the time when he did that sort of thing, he was defending himself against the church, the established authoritarians, in terms of what God is, you know. But none of that should really even be there, because you were already inherently a child of God. Anyhow, Christ takes the keys to death, hell, and the grave, and all of a sudden a new era has begun for our species. And all of a sudden Christ has command over death. And we see death the way we see it. We're in these human bodies. Okay, well, we know we all die. some of us turn into ghosts, you know what happens. We kind of look at life and death that way. And some of us want to live forever, and are afraid of death and so wound up. But truly, that's a product of insecurity. These bodies here are going to wear out at some point anyhow. But there's a whole new understanding for us to receive. And we're going to receive it before too long here. And it's okay to be ignorant now, not know, and trust and love, because love's got you, baby. So at that time, the period of preparing the bride of Christ began. And that period is about to come to an end. And that's this exciting time we live in now. So during this period, what is the bride of Christ? What is its intention? So the bride of Christ are all the children of earth who find that Holy of Holies within. All the children of earth who find the one true God. That's who the bride of Christ is. And it's growing, it's building. And right now, when you look out there in the world, you see people that you disagree with. And you see people that are really doing wrong. You even may be angry with them. You know what? Those people are the bride of Christ too. It's waiting to happen. So give them love and give them room. You don't have to agree with them to give them love and to give them room. And this is even how Jesus behaved. Jesus was talking and he said, turn the other cheek. If a man wants your jacket, give him your shirt too. And sometimes you read that and you're like, that's some far out, very mature philosophy, Jesus. But it's way smarter than you realize, and it's not that far out. He was helping us to help each other. There's a lot of wisdom in that in terms of teaching and in terms of learning, not just for yourself, but also for other people. And when you disagree with someone, if you get up in their stuff and you do nothing but put pressure on them and you don't give them room, you don't give them room to process anything or work through anything positively. You don't even give them room to think. And if you're doing that, you probably don't even give yourself time to think, time to receive, time to process things. We all need that. When you're talking to heaven and when you're looking for direction in your life, stop after that and listen and wait and receive. And your answer will be there, but you got to do that listening part. So with interacting with each other and helping each other to learn and grow, give people room. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to do it so long as it's in love, and to illustrate your viewpoint. That's all right to do. It's how we grow. We all share. Someone else's viewpoint's different, Still love them, give them room. If it's completely backwards, if you give them room, they may realize it, And then you'll go, oh my goodness, that worked pretty good. And then you'll be like, oh, I'll use it on some other people over here. Well, let's give them a little room here, plant the seed. All right, we'll wait and have some patience. Woohoo! Oh my goodness! A beautiful thing happened. You'll find with animals, with everything, it's a communication thing that's inherent with all of nature. And we are all of nature, part of nature. We're children of the earth. The earth is your mother. Jesus will tell you that too. He wrote that in some books with the Essene, who, when we look back at his time, there were three major factions in terms of religious Hebrew factions. And I am not a scholar in this. do my best to educate myself. So if I misspeak here, somebody help me out. But at that time you had the Sadducees, the Pharisees. You also had the Essene. The Essene had a lot to do with Christ coming here. The Essene buried the Dead Sea Scrolls. So they did a lot to help Christ come to be and to preserve a lot of his words. And of course we don't hear much about them because the Essene were basically his hippie tribe that he hung out with. They were very communal. They allowed women to be leaders. They believed in some of the maybe more far out stuff, reincarnation, things like that. So Christ coming up in this community of people that shared, people who are very close to nature, had a lot to say about our Mother Earth and our relationships with the earth and with heaven. So don't think that tree hugging ain't biblical. You just ain't read all the Bible yet. So at this time, it is heaven's intention that we give our brothers and sisters room. Let them work it out. They're the bride of Christ waiting to happen. There was one time, there was someone in particular who I said was a danger to friends, and potentially, maybe one way you could look at it that way. But heaven showed me something cool, because even though I felt that way, I would still give them love. I've always got that, but maybe I wouldn't invite them to certain things, stuff like that, because I'm protecting, my friends, from evil. And then one day, I'm doing some stuff, expressing some things one weekend in the community, and this individual's there, and towards the end of it, we talked, and they expressed how some of the words had touched him. And I was just floored. I was like, whoa, man, I've been a dick, And who the heck am I to think I'm serving heaven, Because this was the bride of Christ waiting to happen. And I was not there for my brother, not the way I should have been. Didn't have the hope I should have had, because heaven had hope for him. And he was just waiting for the right words in the right place in the right time, And heaven knows that, we all get our medicine in our time. Well, Jesus told us many times not to judge. Our hearts aren't mature enough for that. There's a lot of wisdom to that. And most of the weight we carry around in this world is of our own choice, our own doing. We bind ourselves through judgment. And we carry this stuff around in our heart. And it's a one-to-one relationship. The awesome thing is all I gotta do is drop the judgment. And oh my goodness, oh, my heart's free. Oh, now I can love that person instead of being a jerk, Wow. Is medicine that easy? Yes, it is. So it's beautiful that we can find it that easily. So let's talk about judgment a little bit. I'll tell you a little story I really enjoy, because it speaks to how our hearts work in this way. So there's this two monks, and they're walking along, and they come to this river, and there's a woman there at the river, and she can't get across herself. So monks kind of standing around and kind of looking at it, debating, because they're not supposed to touch women. And the elder monk just walks over, tells her hop on, carries her across the river, sets her down, and the two monks keep on walking. And walking ways, and finally the younger monk just can't take it anymore. We're not supposed to touch women. Why did you pick her up? And the elder monk's kind of like, I put her down way back there. why are you still carrying her? And there's a great truth in that. There's the whole judgment factor. And Jesus knew that. He's like, save yourself the whole trouble with all of that. Walk around with a light heart. Because Jesus came to bring us freedom. Came to show us how to break our chains. And that's part of the wisdom of that freedom. Part of the wisdom of breaking those chains. It's okay to have an opinion about something. And it's okay to observe the difference between good and evil and to choose what's good. But let's distinguish between that and judgment. Because if you're in judgment, you're not going to be able to love that other person. Okay? That's the difference there. You carry around a weight that you weren't intended to walk around with. So, you're a freaking infinite creator. Come on. Let it go. God's already got you on that. And you're not helping to grow the bride of Christ by doing that. Every person you run into is an opportunity to show that love, to show that light, and an opportunity too to share with someone, hey, those chains you've been walking around with, drop it. You don't need it. You have no idea how powerful your love is. Love is powerful. Of all the messed up things I've seen in this world, there's nothing that cuts through all of it like love. And even the burdens that people carry around, no worldly force will break that. Only love will break that. It's powerful. Give it a shot. So, there will be a time in the future for a segregation of good and evil. That will occur. Our species has been around for a little while, and we still have a lot of growing to do. We're about to go through a major change. There was a vision where I actually got to experience this change, and I'll share it at a different time. But it's coming in our lifetimes. It is beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing you ever experienced. Heaven's coming for you. So, anyhow, there will be a time for division of good and evil. It is intended that our species continues as good as the light, the light, the law, God. That's what we're heading for. But it takes a lot to get a species from down here to over there. We all have free will. We all have access to all of the creative powers. You are an infinite creator, so choose to create in a beautiful way. And try to see your brothers and sisters. When people get pissed off at you for whatever reason, realize they're just someone going through the same crap you're going through. Just on a different day, right? So it's okay to give them a little room. And if you do that, you don't carry that with you either. Because if you walk around and you let all these things in this world irritate you, what are you going to wake up thinking about? What are you going to dream about? Messed up stuff, you know? Because that's what you're filling yourself with. That's what you're filling your consciousness with. And whether you realize it or not, you're actually choosing to do that. And you'll bury yourself in a hole where you won't even, know which way is up. Because our consciousness can go to those places. But there's always a way to return. And no matter how bad it gets or how much messed up stuff you think you've done, heaven can love you. And heaven can even show you how to love yourself and how to forgive yourself and how to release those things you've been carrying. But we'll get deeper into that another time. For now, Bride of Christ. So, in this world, observing the Bride of Christ, the people who know this need to be loving, reaching out. And the church needs to be a lot more loving than it has been. This world isn't about money. This world isn't about controlling other people. This world is not about enforcing your will on other people. We have free will. Let people blossom into what they want to blossom into. You're going to make them into some messed up things by trying to drive their will here and here. And, and if you are someone who is defining God for people, then you should realize you're only a man, and should also realize that it's possible for all of us to use the name of heaven for the sake of our own vanity, and that's something we should avoid. We should only be a light pointing to the light. So, as we all are, everyone on this planet. So, very soon, our whole species will change. And when we do, part of us will be conscious of it, part of us will not. I will tell you that particular vision that I had that shows me that, it absolutely lines up with the book of Revelations in the Bible. And actually a couple of my visions line up with that. They also show me that the book of Revelations is in the order that people think it's in. I don't think. But I mean, I'm only a person too, so. But I do believe in our lifetime we are going to change. And whether or not you realize the change is going to depend on your heart. Because when this change happens to our species, everyone changes. And some people know it and some people don't. I want you to be one of the persons that know it, because when the change got here, you're already in love with heaven. When that change got here, you have already been willing to lay down the chains. You don't have to be perfect when it gets here, but you got to be looking in the right direction. You have to know that Christ is the master of this world and has given us a path to become a whole new thing. And it's exciting. Wow. There's going to be a lot of tumultuous things between now and then. Don't expect for it to be an easy ride. Right now, this planet is so packed. We've killed off most of the animals, killed off most of the trees. These are our brothers and sisters that I'm talking about. Heaven created them to teach you the same. In fact, Jesus said that if you don't know your Heavenly Father yet, go hang out with nature. It's your mother, and she'll care for you, and she'll teach you until you're ready to go and work and learn with your Father. So, nature's our brothers and sisters, and something to teach you and something to listen to, too. It comes back to that whole listening thing. Take the time to listen when you ask heaven. When you're in confrontation with someone else, or you disagree with someone else, take the time to listen. You'll learn something about them and about yourself. Because in this whole Bride of Christ thing, even if we get to a point where we're able to help other people, we're still growing. We still need heaven's water. We still need to be open. And we still need to, I guess, remember the truth of it. And that is knowing the Holy of Holies within us. And that's a place where we take our shoes off and where we bring heaven to this very earth here. And that place is inside you. There's a place to find. Beautiful place. Right? That's all I have to say for now on the Bride of Christ. To all of the world I speak peace. Father, I ask that you give your spirit of peace to this place, and to all the places, all of the homes, people who watch this. I speak to the spirits here now. Speak to the spirits in all of those places. And say, if you're not of the light, you are bound from those places. And I invoke the Holy Spirit. And thank you, Father, for your spirit of peace in this place and in all of these places. And thank you for making us the way we are. Ah, it's so exciting. Ah, blessings to all of you. I love you.